Subscribers and supporters of the channel. Those of you are probably joining today because you're feeling a certain way about what's going on. And either you are for what's going on or you're against it. Now, I've always believed that whatever you believe in, that you fight for it, right? Now, to touching on that point, something I want to help you guys understand is I don't know if you guys remember a while back, but I was sharing these videos. I don't know if you guys have heard of Sean Ryan, former Navy SEAL, CIA operator, who was trying to he what he was trying to do was bring about the point, okay, that back on 9/11, okay, Ahmad Massoud basically was trying to warn our government about the incoming terrorist attack that took place on 9/11. He was assassinated. So his son, right, his successor, was trying to warn us about an incoming attack on U.S. soil by terrorists. Now, is that what this is? I know that there are also peaceful protesters that are currently not rioting, but peacefully protesting in Los Angeles. Okay. So you have the peaceful protesters, and then you have the rioters. The rioters are the criminals. Okay. The peaceful protesters are simply exercising their American right to free speech. A lot of them have families. Okay. Their mother and father are immigrants. The children, the kids, are citizens because they were born here. Now, I would hope that these children, okay, because I don't know the details. I don't know how old they are. I don't know if they're 15. I don't know if they're 25. I don't know if they're 5, okay? I don't know. We could have had immigrants come over the border in the last year, right, who just had a baby, okay? So like I was saying, if you're just joining, we have peaceful protesters and we have rioters. I am completely against the rioters. I am for your free speech, okay? Now we're gonna get to, in a moment, we're gonna get to what I truly think about immigrants and whether they do belong here or do not belong here. Now, Trump recently announced that he is not, okay, not gonna be deporting the people working in the fields. Now, I saw a lot of field workers. I'm a truck driver, as you guys know. I saw a lot of a lot of Mexican field workers. Okay. Now, another thing on my way up to Sacramento. Now, another thing is here's the thing, you guys. All right. Here's the thing. So you have the California governor who has completely washed his hands of everything going on. He's not trying to help in any way, shape, or form at all. He's not. Gavin Newscomb, as I like to call him, is a traitor, I think, to the people that he has been given the responsibility to govern of. You know, we saw that with the LA fires. Now you have all this stuff going on, these riots, right? And I'm just 2 feet away from it. And this is why I moved to Apple Valley, California, because I foresaw a lot of things coming, because I know that there's the storm that needs to come before the calm. And being in a major city is the last place where you want to be. The very last place you want to be is a major city. Now, I've always recommended that you guys be armed by yourself, firearms, all this stuff, right? And you guys have heard me say that before in the past. Now, like I was saying about Sean Ryan and Ahmad Massoud's son, also named Ahmad Massoud, who came forward and warned our people of the United States of America about an incoming terror attack. Is this how it's presenting itself? Maybe, maybe not. But millions of dollars were going to the Middle East in arming and training them to attack Americans on the US soil. So don't be distracted by what's going on now in the riots, right? Stay informed, but keep your eyes open and look around in the communities that you live in. When you go to the store every day, times are changing. The fact that our government, the wrong side of our government, has allowed all of these immigrants in over the last 20, 30 years, it's created a huge numbers problem. And they have a lot of hate for us, okay? Now, the media also isn't covering. They are only covering Mexicans, right? But you're going to see there's a video that I'm going to come out with either tomorrow or Thursday where I'm going to make a whole entire presentation for you, just a video, not a live stream. I'm putting together a video right now because they are only covering the Mexicans and they are not covering the Filipinos. They're not covering the Middle Easterners, and they're not covering the Koreans, and they aren't covering pretty much everyone else that isn't Mexican. If you live in LA, you're only going to get information about Mexicans. If you live in Burbank, right, their news as far as Southern California and Northern California, it's not going to change. You know, there's a lot of Jews in a certain portion of Los Angeles, but they're only getting everything about Mexicans. Now, in other states where it's predominantly another nationality, it's probably what they're covering that. I don't know that for sure. Let me know in the comment section if you live in another state that is not dominantly Mexican, right? Whatever the dominant ethnicity it is, let me know what they're showing you there. But for whatever reason, they are only covering Mexicans. Why? Because there's a lot. And it's just right across the border. And they do not like their country. Their president does not like them. The cartels have been in power there for years. Why we haven't called them out as terrorists from the beginning, I don't know. I'm sure that Ahmad Massoud had more information. If you guys want more information about Ahmad Massoud, go to Sean Ryan's channel and watch his live stream that he did, his interview. It wasn't a live stream, it was an interview that he posted with Ahmad Massoud so that you can get all the facts about that. People are looking too much. I'm going to start reading your comments in a minute. People are looking too much to, they're getting tunnel vision on one thing and they're running with it and not paying attention to everything else. You need to pay attention to everything, okay? As a citizen of the United States of America, it's important to stay armed and know how to use those firearms safely. It's important to commune with your neighbors and to create groups, coalitions, ready to fight. Why do you think we haven't been invaded? Because we're armed. Other countries are afraid of us being armed, especially China. And Guns and Cafe says the Mexican president has asked her people in the U.S. to rise up. I haven't heard that. Okay, that's bad news. Who is she to say that to the people over here? She's hoping that the cartel can give us a fight. That's what she's hoping. I'll tell you that much. Rick LP says, I don't understand why other flags are being waved. Exactly. That is not the way you get your point across. Now, for the peaceful protesters, they came out today actually and said, look it, we're handing out American flags. You guys need to understand something, okay? On one side, all right, you've got the peaceful protesters and you have the rioters. I am for free speech. The American citizens that are out there, clearly they are American citizens that are simply only fighting for their families because they want them to stay. I understand that, okay? And I would hope that young children whose parents are not citizens of the United States of America are able to get their citizenship. Now, we can't handle everything at once, and Trump has been able to save us a lot of money thus far, okay? Look it up. And I think that once we have this situation under control, Trump is going to put something out there to be able to give these people their citizenship, the ones that belong here. Those people who voluntarily left not that long ago, those are the people that I want here. because they respect our way of life. And clearly they respect our Constitution. I want them back. This is information warfare. Absolutely. This is, what kind of warfare is that called? Misinformation. There's another word for it. It's a proxy war, but there's something else. But yeah, they're trying to take the minds of our citizens and divide them. And that's what we're dealing with. Doodlebug says, hey, what's up, man? Guns, yeah, information warfare. Let me get to the bull of the woods. What if a company doesn't allow a driver to carry? That's a difficult situation. I've always been against that myself. I think drivers should be able to carry. I think that there's stuff they need to protect. They should have firearms training as well. Being a driver is a bigger responsibility than most people think. I'm not going to give my life for no load, that's for sure. But I want to be able to protect my life from people that are trying to take my load. If that sounds funny, doesn't it? Trying to take my load unwillingly, I'm gonna shoot you. You know? So anyway, this video that I'm coming out with over the next couple of days, either tomorrow or the next day, Thursday, I'm highlighting other immigrants, different ethnicities that you guys need to know about. Originally, ICE went into Los Angeles with names, okay? And then hell broke loose. So it's important to know that. I think that this, going back to Ahmad Massoud, I think this has a lot to do with what he was talking about. He didn't say everything that was on his mind that day. No one ever does in an interview. I know that. And at least our border's secure. So I don't think there's too much to worry about as far as Middle Easterners getting in here to wage war on us. But this would be a good time to do it, wouldn't it? So stay vigilant and aware and get training out there, man. I think the first piece of training that you should get is trauma, okay? Now, it takes longer than getting, purchasing a firearm. So purchase a firearm at the same time and then get medical training, EMT, right? Basic stuff. Understand how to control, learn how to control serious bleeding. I mean, people are out there right now acting crazy and shit can happen. Don't go to these protests because they're not peaceful, all right? Like I said, there is a peaceful side to it. Like I said, my people, the Mexican protesters, were out there protesting peacefully. And then you have these scumbags that are making us look bad. Are they paid? That's the next question. Are they paid? Are some of these people being paid to do this, right? To riot to riot. There's no, if it's not a peaceful protest, it's a riot. Are they being paid to riot? J6, January 6th, we know who all of them were. And I don't think there was anything not peaceful about it. I don't think anybody's died yet in this riot. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Doodlebug says policy isn't law. My life is more important than a job. I concur. But when you hold a career that's, not only respectable, but pays for your health care, gives you a pension, I'm not going to risk that. That's just me. Now, I was having a discussion the other day with a person who is for what's going on, who sees the riots as an outward expression of pain. And I simply told this person, look, it's number one, it's not peaceful. Number two, it's emotional, and any emotional decision is never a good decision. Any decision based on emotion, it isn't well thought out, it isn't planned, and it's 100% reactive. In life, you need to respond, not react. Some situations take reaction, okay? Like somebody getting hurt, situations like that, you need to react, right? And training kicks in, which allow a person to be able to react, okay, positively. You got to be smart, and you have to respond to these situations. You fight on paper. And a lot of people these days are not willing to fight on paper because it takes too much time. It's easier to be emotional and lash out. And that is the society that has been raised for the last 50 years now, because their propaganda is geared to strike your emotions. It's not geared for you to take time to sit and think about it. They distract you so that when you get the information, it's too late and you have no choice but to react emotionally. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but everything that we get thrown at us, and all the way to our, political two-party system, is I'm noticing that the Democrats serve emotion, Republicans serve the logic. It's important to find the middle ground, okay? Even though I consider myself a Republican, I always try to find the middle ground. I do my homework on what both sides are saying. And that's the other thing. There's a lot of misinformation. So whatever you look up, be real careful, man. All I know is that having immigrants here, especially criminals, is not right, and they've been allowing that. They play us like a freaking fiddle. And it's important that we fight in the courts. That's how we need to fight. Any families of these immigrants that are listening to this right now, you need to fight in court. Okay, get your family back to Mexico safely and come back and fight in court. That's what you need to do. It's Don't be out there rioting. Be out there and protest and wave the American flag and humbly ask the United States of America for help in getting your families back here, because I want them here. All right, I do want them here. And I think families being separated sucks. And I want families to be able to stay together. That's just how I feel about it, but not illegally. We need to do this legally, right? The American way, the way it is in every other country. Do your homework. I know you guys know by now. Russia, my buddy who I just did a live stream with, Mr. Constantine, calls himself American Sputnik. He's living in Russia right now. And we discussed his whole process we did a live stream. We did a whole discussion on his citizenship in Russia and all the stuff that he went through. And everything that we talked about I'm just like, wow, dude, nobody had to go through that over here. But it's the same thing in every other nation except ours, because this is what the left wing wanted in order to demonize and make Trump seem like a tyrant. I mean, come on, naturally, when you have so many people to deport, how's that make you look? But people fail to see that Obama was even worse. You know, Obama deported the most Mexicans in our history, when you do your homework on that. The Bull of the Woods says, despite a company's, oh, sorry, I already read that. Guns and Cafe, oh, wait, if I had to go in any large city, despite a company's policy, I would still carry illegally if I had to go into any large city on the West Coast. Now, beware and be careful of what you post on here, you guys. I'm telling you, for your protection. The CIA is on high alert. There are keywords when you're talking on the phone, when you're on social media. There's keywords that are going to make them listen to you and monitor your phone calls and monitor your social media. So be real careful with that. Guns and Cafe says what happens is that pain, what happens, you mean if that pain shows up to his property, defend yourself accordingly. Yeah. I think there are a select few, right, peaceful protesters that joined the riot because, I mean, hey, they're angry, all right? But I don't agree with it. I don't agree with rioting. So, as far as that goes, bros, I mean, it's sad, dude, to see. I know that. So there was this video I was watching a while back on an American World War II veteran who was part of the Big Red One, and he was crying while he was talking about and recalling all of his friends that died for us to be a free people, right? Not only a free people on our own soil, but on the soil that they were sent to protect, right? They thought that they were giving their lives for the cause of saving Jews' lives, which I'm all for. And men back then were different, okay? Very different. You know, there were men that were 16 years old signing up to enlist, 15 years old, 14 years old, and they went. You'd never be able to get away with something like that today because of the technology, but they were able to bypass the system and fight because men became men early, women became women early, and that's the way it's been. And it's funny to see the incremental changes over time through all the stuff they're putting in our food, in the air. It's bitching us out. You know what I mean? It's turning us into bitches, and then you're starting to see these women manning up. It's crazy. What's going on is crazy, and it needs to be stopped. So that's why I'm also glad that RFK is immersed deeply in our health. So it's gonna take time, but dude, do my kids have their work cut out for them? Or, I mean, this is out of control. It's completely out of control. Now, I could go down a whole conspiracy alley with you on this live stream, but we're gonna stay on subject. Kevin Gonzalez, thanks for being here, saying preach. Make sure you hit the like on this stream, and continue to speak your opinions, and I'm going to read them on here, okay? So talk about what you're hearing as of lately with the riots, what you're hearing as of lately with, going on in the Middle East. Devin Sorensen says, and men nurturing up for their kids too. Men nurturing up for their kids too. Can you elaborate on that and let me read that? Men nurturing up for their kids too. Do you mean like men staying at home to take care of the kids while the wives work? Which I completely disagree with, unless the time calls for you to have to take the time off in order to level up, and you know that whatever you're pursuing entrepreneurially is going to work out within a certain amount of time. Like, on this date, I'm going to have $1 million and this is going to take off. So just elaborate a little bit on that. Yeah, Guns and Cafe. I understand what you're saying. If this stuff comes to my doorstep, I'm ready. But let me tell you guys, you don't have enough bullets. You know what I'm saying? None of us do. None of us have enough bullets to fight the Middle East, to fight the cartel. But our military does, right? And all this stuff with China, I was right about. I called it from the beginning. About what, 4 months ago, that China was eventually going to concede, that their people were going to rise up, that they were going to lose more businesses than we lost during COVID, and up to even this point in life. Kevin Gonzalez says, the how-tos first is saying Satan's kids destroy. Kevin Gonzalez says, did anyone hear about birth control in the water? God, I hope that's not true. Yeah. Yeah, I hope not. Birth control I think has done more harm to our society than good, because it held women more accountable to be more responsible with their bodies. Women have a huge responsibility. The how to Satan's kids destroy. Can you elaborate on that for me, please? And Devin, elaborate more on men nurturing up for their kids too. I want to know more about what you're saying. I don't completely follow what you're saying. I'm going to be doing this live stream for about another, how long have we been on, you guys? 24 minutes. So I'll go on until the live stream hits about 45 minutes, and then I'm going to cut it. But birth control in the water, I've not heard about that. My laptop's actually dead right now. I want to look that up. I should have made sure that this thing was charged before that. Hey, Kira. Mama, can you get that little power bank for me, please? And Kevin Gonzalez says, I guess. So I'm gonna look up right here in a moment on the laptop and look up some of these things and see what Google says. But like I said, be real careful with Google, man. I mean, they're pushing information that only that serves the deciders, like Rage Against the Machine said, it serves their purpose, okay? There's a lot of diction that's been changed in order to serve the mainstream purpose. So Devin Soren says, looks like he's elaborating here. More women are forced to work. Yup. More families are separated, which means more dads are stepping up to the plate while they're also working, and it pulls the families apart. I know plenty of friends that raise their kids primarily. Not for myself, my wife stays home. Thank God we're blessed enough for her that I make enough money for her to stay home and saving money on healthcare. She doesn't work. So I'm proud of that. I have a lot of pride in what I do, and I am given that ability because of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. God makes this possible for me. Although I made moves and steps in my life, my gratitude to God grew, and so did my blessings. And yeah, that's what they want, for people to work and to divide and separate more and more from each other in the household. Their scum has infiltrated the family, the American family home. In a communist nation, you don't have to work a lot, right? This country is so rich, the world is so rich, they could give you money to stay home. But they're going to make all the decisions. Holy Moly says, amen, brother. That's funny. Yeah, amen to you as well, my friend. My brother from another mother, but the same father. So anyways, you guys, I appreciate you all for being in here. We're having a good turnout. I'm hoping in the future to be able to make political changes and get into politics myself. Obviously, now's not the right time. Clearly don't have enough traction for that, but given the opportunity, we all have the ability to do that, to create a platform to build on. I don't know if you remember, but 6 years ago, I was telling people, create a YouTube channel and monetize whatever you can in your life, whether it's just getting on YouTube and speaking your mind. People want to listen. This connects the world. And that's why I don't believe that the deciders are really, yeah, there's a side that wants to pull us apart, but there's a side also that wants to keep us together. Because if it really was that and hardcore conspiracy was fact, I wouldn't be able to be live on here right now. Okay? Now, everybody all over the world is able to go live, so I just don't believe that there's an entire collective up at the top trying to silence us, right? But there is a lot of misinformation going on. And guess who spreads that misinformation when you don't do your homework to both sides and don't make the points that I've been making in this video? Is just creates more separation. Do your research, right? I think that it's going to sound corny, but love, right? It really does make life better, right? For you, for myself, if we have love for people who also are not from here, love just for the fact that you're a human being that bleeds the same color blood that I do, we're going to make it. When you put people in power for too long, they become corrupt. That's just a law of life, a law of nature, which is why it's important to make sure that we cycle every 4 years, nothing past 5, when it comes to the ones who decide what goes on politically. We've, for the past, 50 years, we've been numbed. We've been given MTV and all these other things, music, it's in our music, that just kind of numb us, dumb us down, and keep us uninterested in being ambitious. I think that the movement that's been going on the last 6 years has been crucial in creating leaders, because only in times of struggle do leaders really rise, because it takes a shaking of your heart and soul in order to breed those leaders. So we've seen people rise, we've seen people fall, and we've seen people just move through life and you're just going to do whatever they tell them to do because that's the kind of non-ambitious life they want to live. I think every American needs to be predominantly a fighter in order to keep this nation the free land of the United States of America that it has always been and will continue to be. But we got to show more compassion to one another for sure. More compassion, right? Like the more that I study this Christianity, the more that I see that It really is the way for finding peace. I don't believe that we've been created just to go to hell. And there's people that like to preach that, oh brother, if you don't give your life, you're gonna go to hell. Right? You hear that a lot. Um, but I think if we take the message of love, right, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. Just be humane. Just be a man or woman that you are. Evil exists, but uh, there's a lot more good than evil. I believe that, even though there's a lot of evil. Sometimes it seems like we're outnumbered. But I mean, look where we're living today in the United States. They are trying to turn our land into Babylon. You're starting to see more of this stuff, man. I don't want to get into. I don't know if YouTube will let me really talk about it, but it has to do with being unfaithful, even in a marriage, willingly unfaithful where both people know about it. That's disgusting, dude. Who does that, right? Who allows another man to sleep with your wife or another woman to sleep with your husband? I mean, that's disgusting, bro. Like, what's wrong with you? It's your kinks are your own, but the uh the propaganda that's being spread on various social media platforms is aimed at further divide of the family unit for a reason, right? If you don't have something to stand for, something to protect, you're willing to just fall for anything, you know? Something that I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate talks about, but one of the points that he made, I'll give credit to him on this, is look around you at our buildings, new construction. There's nothing around us anymore to be proud of, like the Sistine Chapel, like the Duomo de Milano in Milan, which I went to go see some years back. You don't see that anymore. There's nothing in our cities anymore to be proud of other than just our spirit and soul and American pride. And it's important that our local community governors do something, build something that aligns with American values, that keeps us all on the same page. That's important. So anyway, comment with what you guys think about that. Okay, and I'm gonna read your comments here another 15 minutes, and then I'm out of here because I got stuff to do. But first of all, I want to thank you all again for being in here. Doodlebug, Devin, Kevin, that rhymes. Holy moly. Guns and Cafe, guys, go check out Guns and Cafe's YouTube channel. The Bull of the Woods, and who else do we have? A lot of other people watching. So thank you guys for being active in here. Mr. By the Mile, home for discussions based on my knowledge just in life, not just trucking, but in life. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I do have a good sense of common sense. And based on research, I go off that and report what I must. So with that said, you guys, again, thank you all for being in here. I appreciate you all. And I'm here to create not followers, but leaders, more people that are willing to think for themselves, people that are willing to unite for the common good. It's important that we leave the past in the past. Educate, right, about slavery and all that. Yeah, sure, educate our people, okay? But the American Constitution, this idea of unity is a good one. And we need to move forward with that as a people and do what it takes to get our American citizens' families here that belong here. But first, we have to get control back as far as immigration goes, as far as terrorism, as far as, look, what's going on in the Middle East is never going to end. They are hell bent on world domination, and that's dangerous, and that needs to be controlled. Criminals that are in jail right now that are going to get executed anyway, it needs to happen. These child rapists, murderers, they need to be put down. And I disagree with the people who say, well, they deserve their fair. Fair what? It wasn't fair when they assaulted a child. It wasn't fair when they decided to kill somebody, right? That's not fair. Why should they continue to live for? There's something messed up here and they need to be put down like a dog. Not even like a dog, just worse than a dog, right? Dogs get euthanized. They should get, anyway, bro. I don't want to say too much on here. But American taxpayer dollars are being wasted on feeding these MFers, bro. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, if you enjoy the live stream, make sure that you hit the like, make sure you follow. I am taking my channel a completely different direction. And again, you've been watching Mr. By the Mile, here to create leaders, not only subscribers or followers, but a platform. Let's say I get real big one day, you guys, you are going to have a voice as well, especially if I think you're making good points, and I will always give other people credit. Now, on this subject of families, right, where we're moving as far as that direction in, these deciders trying to separate us in the American family household, follow Coach Greg Adams. Please listen to what the dude has to say. No, you're not going to agree with everything he says, but he's going to bring points about that will enlighten you for sure. Anyways, Mr. By the Mile, your home for discussions based on my knowledge and experience in life. Take care, you guys. I'm always going to give the good people a voice. Always. See you on the next one.